Hey, what's up guys? Michael Six Muldoon here, and I'm excited for you to join me. Today I'm coming from you from wonderful sunny Pittsburgh. It's freezing out here. But aside from that, I'm having a good time. I'm staying at this cool Airbnb. It's Star Wars themed, so I figured if we're doing something Star Wars, may the Force be with you. I might as well take some time to teach you how to do a card force. So here. Today I'm going to be teaching you the cut deeper force. What I like so much about the cut deeper force is that there's a couple of things you can do with it. One, you can make it play larger by spreading out cards on the table. So if you have a lot of people around, you can make it play really big, but it still keeps the simplicity of the force. Aside from that is if you're doing it walking around, you don't need a table. You can do it all in the hands. So you don't damage your cards if you're performing at a cocktail event or with friends at a bar or something, because there may be liquid or something on the table, you don't ruin your cards. So you can A, do it on the table, B, you can do it in the hand, so play big, you can play small, and it's really simple to do. Not only that, the third thing is that there's many effects that you can do with it. There's many published ideas using the cut deeper principle in many obscure ways, right? Some ways that you wouldn't think of, which makes it really, really unique, because there's some effects that I've actually been fooled with the cut deeper force. And after I learned like it was the principle behind the cut deeper that made it work, I was like, oh, it's so good, I wish I could do that. I'm talking about people like Michael Weber's published ideas on it, Ryan Schultz, there's a bunch of people that will show you some brilliant ideas with it. I'll link those below so you can do some more research. But for now, I'm going to teach you the simple cut deeper force. So let's get started. I go to a spectator and I say, do me a favor, I would like you to cut a small packet of cards. So they cut a small packet of cards. And if you could, flip that packet face up on top. Excellent. And I want you to cut a little bit further now. That means more than how many cards you cut before. So cut down really far. Good. And flip that over. Put it back on top. Excellent. So now you took the cards, you cut them a couple times so they basically got mixed, and now we have the cards of random order. I want you to take the first face down card to randomize this a little bit. That'll be your card. Take a look at the card, and at this point I already know it's the 8 of hearts. And that's the cut deeper force, and that's what we're going to be covering today. All right, so let's get into the cut deeper force. Here's what you need to know. In order to execute the force, you need to know the top card. So, in this case, the 4 of hearts. Now, I don't suggest that you just simply look through the cards and look at the top card, because that becomes very obvious. So here's 2 quick ways in which you can figure out what the top card is. One is by doing a riffle shuffle. So that means in the process of shuffling the cards, what I would do is I'm looking and holding back the cards in my right hand. If you're lefty, you can hold back the cards in your left hand. Hold back some cards as they mix, and then I look to see what the last card is that's going to be dropped. In this case, I see it's the 8 of hearts. So that's one way to look at the top card. So I can just do it in shuffling. I'm shuffling to myself, not paying attention. 8 of hearts, it's on top, good. Now I know the top card is the 8 of hearts. Another way is that if there was a card on the bottom, because it's a little bit easier to peek a card on the bottom, because all I got to do is tap the deck on the table and I can see the bottommost card. So by doing a table tap or squaring up the cards, it allows me to see this card. Another way is just picking up with your right hand, you talk casually, oh, what's your name? Can you help me with something? And now you can see the bottommost card. But I still gotta get to the top. So how would I do that? Well, you gotta do a running overhand shuffle. So I'm gonna pick up the whole packet as if I was doing a regular overhand shuffle, peel off about half the cards, maybe a little bit more, and then just go kind of chunks. But remember, I'm holding the whole bottom packet here. The 8 of hearts is underneath. I'm going to singly pull off cards, right? At some point, once I get a small enough packet, I want to go one by one, because it's eventually going to bring the 8 of hearts to the top. So I'm going to put it face up so you can see. So on the bottom, I pick up the whole packet for overhand shuffle, take about half. I can take a few chunks. Once I see I get a small, tiny packet, I go one by one, and it brings the 8 of hearts to the top. So I'm just removing the bottom card, putting it to the top. And this stays face down the entire time. Now, they don't know the 8 of hearts is on top. They just think you shuffled the cards. Now you're gonna go into the force. So what you wanna do is you're gonna have them cut a small packet of cards. Now you don't want them to cut too big, because if they cut too many cards, that's gonna cause you some issues, because they're gonna have to cut deeper in a second, and you want to leave space for them to cut. So you say cut off a small packet of cards, maybe 10, 15, 20 cards, right? and you can show them. I always recommend when you're working with the spectator, they don't know what 10, 15, 20 cards really looks like. To them, they may pick it up and go, oh yeah, it's about 15 cards. They're not really sure, right? They'll realize that maybe half is 52, but a lot of people aren't that familiar with cards, and they're not thinking in the process right there of doing math, right? They're just not gonna go, oh, 52 cards, half of that's 26, so therefore, if I was gonna do 20 cards, it has to be less than half of what the deck looks like. That doesn't work that way. So I usually recommend say, yeah, cut off about 10, 15, 20 cards, and let them see visually what they're aiming for. That really helps them understand what's expected of them. Now they cut off a small packet of cards, and then we're gonna flip that face up. Now we know our 8 of hearts is on top. So now if we flip that face up, our 8 of hearts is going back to back with the cards that are face down. So all these cards are face up and all these cards are face down. Our 8 of hearts is the face up, the first face up card here. Now you're gonna ask them to cut deeper, right? Now you don't spread the cards at this point. You don't show any of this. You just say, now cut deeper. And what you mean by deeper is past the face up cards, right? So you say, now cut a big packet. So now you can say, show them an example this way of cutting a big packet. So they cut a big packet, say flip those cards face up now. Now you're kind of mixing the cards, right? You flip face up, flip face up. Now we don't know the order of the cards. I want you to take the first face down card. Now this is when it's already done because now your first face down card is the 8 of hearts. How does this work? Look at the procedure again. If I flip, right, I got the 8 of hearts on top. I flip a small packet face up like this. Now my 8 of hearts is here. Look what happens when I cut deeper. My 8 of hearts is still here. When I flip this packet, it's automatically making that 8 of hearts, right, my first face down card. So when this packet gets flipped over, my first face down card automatically becomes the top card of the deck now because of the 2 rotations. And now you can spread through and have them take out the first face down card and you've had them force the 8 of hearts. To make a play bigger, I like to do it on the table. So before I spread to the face down card and just give it to them, I like to make it look larger. So one thing I do is I spread the cards out on the table nice and wide. So now it's playing larger. And when you can get space involved in Magic, you start utilizing the space around you, it can really make a small effect seem really, really big, really, really prominent. And this is really helpful for that type of idea. And it's kind of an idea that I learned from my friend David Blatter at the Magic Castle. He really said you can close with any effect if you sell it as being a grand effect. And it's a good point. You can really make any effect bigger or larger if you really sell it as such. And doing this with a simple card force will do it. So here's how you do it. You would start by having the person to your right, say cut a few cards like this, flip them face up, or maybe the person to your left if you want to get multiple people involved, right? So I would start on the left, say cut a few small packet of cards like this, flip them face up, because we're going to force the 9 of hearts in this case. They do that, say perfect, and go to this person. Now they cut and randomize, but I want you to randomize even further. Cut a little further down, bigger packet, and flip it face up. So I do the same thing. And now I can spread the cards out on the table. Right? So if I'm performing to this person here, I'd probably spread it more in their direction to make it easier for them to reach the cards. But I also keep it far enough away that I don't want them reaching these cards. I kind of want them only reaching this far. If they're going to reach too far, you'll kind of notice in a second as your head is turned away. But in this case, here's a couple ways you can play it. Someone's here to the right, I spread the cards out, say I want you to go ahead and take the first face down card and take a look at it. Now I look away. Now I said it to them to take the first face down card, but I don't make a big deal of it to the rest of the audience. I just kind of say it to them. I look away, and once I see that they grab the card, I'm kind of just getting a view from the side here, or I could be looking away completely, just trusting they're going to take the top card because I just told them to do that. They take that card, I'm looking away, and once they've done that, I say, really, you can take any face down card. But they've already taken one card, now they're not going to switch it. So here's how I play it in order to make it freedom of choice, right? Make it really seem free. You can really take any one of these cards. I take these cards, then I turn all these face-up cards face down on top, and I leave this in a big mess. And I say, you could have taken any one of these cards, it doesn't matter. Now I start removing all the cards that I said that you could have took in case they want to switch. I said, look at that card, and now I'm making them take an action, right? So if I say, you could have taken any one of those face-down cards, go look at your card and remember it. Now they have an action, so they have something to do that's pulling them away from wanting to switch the card, right? This is a nice way to give freedom of choice that many cards were available, and then taking away those choices so they can't go to those choices. Because if you say, oh, you could have had anyone, I didn't know that, can I switch? But you want to keep them busy. How do I do that? I start cleaning up the cards. You could have took any one of these face-down cards. You take a look at your card and remember it. Now they have to do something, right? So we're moving along, and I continue along with the pace of the effect. It's just a nice way to make it play a lot larger and also create a nice illusion of freedom of choice. And I think using a table is a really good way to make something like the cut deeper force play a lot larger. So they can look at their card, you can spread out the cards face down, you can look away, they look at it, so you put it back somewhere in the middle, anywhere you want, shuffle the cards, and go into any effect you'd like to do. You can just read their mind, or you can play it into something else. It's just a really nice way to play the effect up. So my suggestion, if you have a table, use a table, make it play larger, and of course, also throw in that little thing there that you could have picked any one face down card after they've taken the card out. It doesn't work so much in the hands, because if I say, oh, I take the first face down card, then I can say, oh, but you could take any face down card. Well, I'm kind of holding the cards. They know that's not true. So the rest of the audience would be kind of confused, like, how would you even do that? But when I have it like this, and I say, yeah, go ahead, take the first face down card, and once I know they've taken the card out, I say, and you could have really picked any of these cards face down. It doesn't matter, any card would have worked. Go ahead, take a look at your card and remember it. I start cleaning up the cards. They have to start taking the action of looking at and remembering their card, and then we're good to go with the rest of the effect. So that's just a really cool way to make the effect play a little larger, and a little suggestion there for you. So I hope you guys enjoy that. That is it. This is the Cut Deeper Force. May the force always be with you and on your side. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments section below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button, because I got plenty more where that came from. We're just getting started here. So from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the Star Wars theme pad, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.